It is 9 p.m. Eastern, and that means it is time for a fantasy football draft, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we're going to mix it up primarily because I'm going to be spending the weekend with some buddies that are excited about golf. I want to watch this PGA tournament. I want to know what's going on. So to have some fun, I'm going to have to ask y'all what the hell I'm supposed to be doing here with these underdog pick'ems for the PGA. We're going to be super brief on this. I kind of want some advice. I know typically we want to be targeting the big name hires with the PGA. So I'm thinking maybe Tiger Woods more than 72 strokes. I'm thinking maybe fewer than 4.5 birdies for Rory McIlroy. Please let me know what we are doing here, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody give us 1 to 2 more that we can lock in, just so I have no idea what I'm doing. I want to have some fun this week. I actually want to watch this. And I know unless I have an underdog pick 'em out there, there's a 0% chance that I'm going to. Tiger's cooked. I kind of figured we are going to be going that it takes him more than 72 strokes to get the job done. So please, let's go through. And before we move on, how about Dustin Johnson? Are we going to be going with more than higher or lower than 70 strokes, ladies and gentlemen? Higher or lower than 70 strokes. And then we will go ahead, move on to the draft. Just let me know, please, if you have anything with golf, because I do want to have some rooting interest here. Okay, looks like we have a couple votes in for higher. We're going to go ahead. We will take the higher. I'm not going to go crazy with this. I have no idea what we're doing. What will get me interested? $25 wins 119. I honestly don't even know if I need that much action to get interested in this. How about we go 20 to win 95? I want to at least get to 100. Let's go 21 to win 100. All right. No idea what I'm doing. If y'all want to tell me, we can have some fun here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just trying to have some fun for this week. But anyway, let's go ahead. Let's get into an underdog draft. Let's leave the underdog pick'ems. I know that we had a lot of people in the chat saying that they wanted to see a Best Ball Mania draft. We're going to be doing Best Ball Mania literally all off season. Whenever there's a puppy tournament out, I'm probably going to be sticking to the puppies. And then when there's no puppy tournament, I'm going to be going to Best Ball Mania. So let's hop in the puppy. There are 11 spots in this draft for anybody who wants to get in with us. So I'm assuming that the vast majority of this draft is going to be filled out with people in this live stream. But thank you so much for everybody joining with us. I already see that we have some familiar names in this draft room. I know the team at 11. I know the team at 4. And let me know if you are also in here. Happy to see you, Teresa. And yes, we were getting in a puppy. But let me move this over. I saw someone in the chat saying that we had Jared Goff news. And I promise y'all, I don't care if you drop a like on this live stream or not. I promise you we're going to get 2 drafts in tonight. Y'all hit 300 likes on the live stream yesterday. And we were supposed to do 3 drafts, but it was Mother's Day. So things got a little bit pushed back. And we were only able to do 1. So we're going to do 2 drafts tonight regardless. Austin out here at pick 7. Happy to see we got Ken out here at pick 2. And yes, we are stuck at pick 9. So, I mean, I don't know why we get stuck at 9, but it is what it is. Let me pull up this Jared Goff contract. Because, I mean, you could sit here and you say, oh, Jared Goff, $42 million a year. And I want to reiterate for the millionth time, NFL contracts are fake. The numbers that you see on the surface mean pretty much nothing. So Jared Goff, 4-year deal, $212 million contract. That's nothing. But then you see Jared Goff, $170 million guaranteed. And the $212 million number may not mean much, but $170 million guaranteed for Jared Goff. Dear God. A little aggressive. I don't want to say that Jared Goff doesn't deserve it, but I mean, aggressive to say the least. What do we want to do here, ladies and gentlemen? Do we want to, we'll take Puka. We'll stay balanced. My only concern here at pick 9 in comparison to like if you were at pick 11 or 12, I know we say this all the time, but really in round 2, I'm really wanted to grab Jonathan Taylor. I'm really wanted to grab Saquon Barkley. Pick 9, that is by no means a guarantee, as it would be if we had pick 11 or pick 12, right? Where we have our option of those guys at the top of the second round. So the issue is maybe we take Puka and we get stuck with like Brandon Ayuk as the best guy available at 16, which is why pick 9 is just such a brutal spot to be in. It's so much better to just be inside the top 8 or honestly be at 11 or 12. Because I mean, I think like AJ Brown, Puka Nacua, they're about the same, but I think you can just get a significantly better asset at the beginning of the second round as well. We got Naeem says, put some respect on Goff's name. Can y'all spam the chat? Let me make sure I have this contract number right. I think we were looking at Shefty, but I need to make sure that we are looking at the right number here. So London, Ayuk, Olave, I'll reiterate for the millionth time. I don't think any of these guys are good picks at the beginning of the second round. Literally across the board, I think that they're all pretty bad selections, if not very bad selections. But you have to take somebody. You can't trade back. I think Drake London, Brandon Ayuk are in the same tier as Chris Olave. I think they have about the same range of outcomes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass on London. I'm going to pass on Ayuk for the sole reason that if you look at the overall tournament here on Underdog, there are going to be a lot of Puka teams that go Puka London, that go Puka Ayuk, if you look at the way the ADPs line up. So I'm not saying Olave's a much better option than London. I'm not saying he's a better option than Ayuk. I'm saying they're all about the same. And from a tournament perspective, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take the guy that maybe gives us access to a little bit more of a unique build. But oh my gosh, my throat is hurting me, ladies and gentlemen. I've been making a ton of podcasts on the site lately. And also, I mean, we've been working out like a dog lately, but let me pull this up again. Okay, can y'all please spam the chat? Good or bad deal? How about this? Happy or sad? If you are a Detroit Lions fan, are you happy or are you sad that you give Jared Goff $170 million guaranteed? You're a Lions fan, $170 million guaranteed for Jared Goff. What's your reaction? Happy, sad, or if you have any other words to go with it. Happy as a Lions fan. Happy, 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 sad, happy, sad, happy, sad, happy, 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 happy. Looks like most people are, I don't know. I mean, I'd be happy if I was Jared Goff. I'll say that. I'd be happy if I was Jared Goff. Kenny says happy, got a multi-year starter. The thing is, if you're paying Jared Goff that money, are you able to win a Super Bowl? That's just my thought process, because I think the NFL is kind of a Super Bowl or bust league. So are you winning the Super Bowl if you're paying Jared Goff $170 million guaranteed? I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of similar to the Kirk Cousins effect, and that you can be a pretty good quarterback, right? Jared Goff can be a pretty good QB, but if you're paying him as if he's the top 5 quarterback in the NFL, and then all of a sudden it takes a hit to your supporting cast and you're not able to bring in other top level players at defense, then all of a sudden maybe your ceiling's capped just a bit. But I'm so wrong. I was so wrong on the Lions last year. Obviously, it's hard for me to come out and talk Lions football. Let's move this around. So first 2 rounds, we take Puka Olave. Do I like it? No. And what is tough is we titled this live stream, Drafting a Good Fantasy Football Team. So I guess we are going to have to hope that our second draft here is good, because we're going to go to Devonta Smith, 33, go 3 wide receiver straight, set ourselves up with the ability to go, okay, I was going to say possibly cut round 4 to pair up with Puka. but essentially setting ourselves up to get either Allen, Kupp, or Jalen Hurts, and any of those guys fitting our roster at pick 40. If we don't get any of those players, we can maybe pivot to Lamar. But, just brutal spot to be in so far. The Classical Kid says, why is Nico ahead of Diggs? So I have Stephon Diggs personally ranked higher than Nico Collins, but I don't think it's like a big enough gap where I'm going to come out here and scream like, oh my gosh, y'all are fools. How does Nico Collins go 2 picks before Stephon Diggs? I mean, it's kind of personal preference. It's like the same thing. All these mid-round 2 to mid-round 3 guys, they're all the same to me. It doesn't really matter. Just go get your guy. Travis Etienne off the board at 36. So the team that we were going to have to worry about potentially taking Jalen Hurts, of course, would be that team that took A.J. Brown at pick 10. Zay Flowers goes 37. So let's swing this back around. If Derrick Henry falls to us, I will take Derrick Henry, even though I'm not a big Henry guy. This is probably how I'm going to have things queued up right now. I mean, obviously Higgins isn't going to make it to us regardless. But yeah, we get Derrick Henry at 40. It would be a super unique build. Jalen Hurts goes, so I don't know if we've drafted Derrick Henry at all so far this year. Y'all know typically I'm taking a lot of Lamar Jackson, but I mean, whenever tournaments drop, Derrick Henry is going at like the beginning of the 3rd round. We had Travis Etienne ranked ahead of him, so I thought I was never going to be drafting Derrick Henry. But if Derrick Henry all of a sudden's fallen to pick 40, I think that this is about where we had him ranked to open up the season, so might as well go ahead and pull the trigger. The majority of drafts I will be taking Lamar Jackson here at the beginning of the 4th, but this is just, I guess, the very weird and unique build. But, of course, I probably should have mentioned this a while ago. Just in case you don't know what we were doing with the PGA pick'ems at the beginning of the video, just in case you don't know what we're doing in this draft, it's all Underdog Fantasy. That's what we're on pretty much every single day. I mean, I love drafting. We're streaming every single night, drafts at 9 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, they're best ball drafts. No time commitment at all during the year. It's drafted, hundreds of teams every offseason for pretty much the past 4 years now. It's how I won $150,000 on Underdog 2 years ago. And yeah, if you want to hop in a draft with us this year, we're going to be drafting every single day. You can find the link in the description, comment section, live chat. And if you use code FLOCK when you sign up, you're going to be getting a 50% deposit bonus up to $250 on a new account. So if you deposit $500 with code FLOCK, you have an additional $250 in your account to play with. Plus, you're going to be getting our 2024 fantasy football rankings. Plus, you'll be getting a special NBA pick'em. Depending on the night that you sign up, it's going to be something like Luka Doncic more than less than half a total point. Depending on whatever that NBA game is that night when you use code FLOCK. And Underdog is now available in literally almost every state. This map is out of date. It used to not be available in Michigan, but now Underdog is in Michigan. So the only states Underdog is not available in: Louisiana, Hawaii, Nevada, Washington, Idaho, and Montana. And then maybe I think that's Connecticut over there in the gray, but pretty much available absolutely everywhere. I'm in Texas and getting in drafts every single day. So yeah, I hope you can hop in a draft with us. Like I said, code FLOCK if you want all of that. And you can find that link in the description comment section. Adam says, only issue is Derrick Henry is 45 years old in running back years. My thing with Derrick Henry is I don't think he's 45 years old in running back years. I think he is at least 82 years old in running back years. Minimum. Okay. Let's move. Yes, Dawson Knox is in play for us at pick 57. It really just comes down to, do we think we can get Dawson Knox at 64? We're going to have to read the room. My fear would be if we don't take Dawson Knox at 57, that the Josh Allen team takes him at 59. But we'll see. Maybe we can queue up Dawson Knox real quick, just in case. Okay, so Amari goes 52. I assume that we have no shot at taking Andrews. I actually know the Lamar team decided to take Laporta. So, you could see them decide, I don't want to have a bully tight end strategy, and maybe they don't go for Andrews. Andrews goes 53 here. This sucks. I would have loved having Andrews make it to us at 57. Okay, what is this team doing? There are honestly 2 guys that I want, and the rest of them I could care less about. I guess we'll expand it to 3. I have a backup option if we don't get one of those 2. Jaden Reed goes 55. I did not care about Jaden Reed. This team's super balanced. Mahomes, Bijan, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce. So they have the Mahomes-Kelce stack. They go Keenan Allen. I don't care about taking Christian Kirk here. We don't have Michael Pittman, so it's a little bit awkward, but I'm still going to take Anthony Richardson, 57. Richardson, ton of rushing upside. I mean, I still think he has a very low floor. Like, to be honest with you, I'm not sold Anthony Richardson's like some phenomenal real-life NFL QB. But from a fantasy football perspective, he has the rushing upside, and obviously that matters a ton here. And yeah, Keenan goes, Rachaad White goes. There's going to be our two guys that we were looking at pick 57. I'm not jumping up and down with joy to take Christian Kirk at this pick. And then I'm not a super big Mixon guy either. Yeah, I'm typically probably going to be a little bit underweight these veteran, older running backs. But we have Joe Mixon off the board at 60. I have noticed Worthy kind of sliding just a bit in comparison to his ADP in the drafts we've done over the past few days. I think we got Worthy mid-round 6 yesterday, unless I'm wrong. Isaac, yes, now that we have Richardson, it looks like A.D. Mitchell is in play for us. I'm not going to panic if we don't get Mitchell, though, because with Richardson, this is one of those quarterbacks that you could see him having a spike week with 60 rushing yards and multiple rushing touchdowns. So Richardson, obviously, we're still wanting to stack him, but it's not the end of the world if we don't get A.D. Mitchell or Josh Downs. I'm going to be targeting those guys, but it's not like I'm going to be reaching on them dramatically. Okay, we're going to get the guy that we wanted. We are going to get Kenneth Walker here, mid-round 6. My favorite picks at ADP in round 6 are going to be like Kenneth Walker and Jordan Addison. So happy to see that we're able to get Walker. I think we're going to have a lot of them this year. We took him yesterday. Probably need to do a deep dive on why we like Kenneth Walker so much in a video. And yes, I know we haven't been doing daily videos as of late, to just be completely honest with you. And I don't want to be like, oh, look at me, blah, blah, blah. But we have our Iron Man that we're to leave for in like 3-ish weeks now. So I am busting my butt. Like, we were on the bike today for 3.5 hours and swam for an hour. So it's just a lot tougher to get in daily videos. So once we get back from France and once we get the Iron Man out of the way, then we could probably start firing up daily videos on top of the daily streams, or pretty close to it. I says the team actually is good for a 9th pick. I mean, 9 is just brutal. It's just brutal. We have JRV says gamble on Keon. I mean, if you look at Keon Coleman, this is a wide receiver that is being drafted as like the wide receiver 40 in ADP, and he's the wide receiver 1 for Josh Allen, right? I mean, presumably the wide receiver 1. So I'm not the biggest Keon Coleman fan. Like, I didn't really like him as a prospect, to be honest with you. But his cost in best ball does make sense. Like, I'm not going to sit here and scream that Keon Coleman going in round 6 is the worst thing in the world. It's just when you're in such a good offense in these underdog drafts where you have access to that touchdown upside, it's hard to go out there and scream that you're overdrafted. I mean, unless you're like, I don't know, Kadarius Toney last year, right? Where we've proven over a large sample that you're a bum at the NFL level. Here, Keon Coleman has not proven that he's a bum at the NFL level yet. So let's move this over. Kyler goes 75. Ramondre 76. Is Ramondre now going before Montgomery consistently? No, Montgomery still is holding on to an ADP higher than Ramondre. We have a balanced team if we're looking at what we could do. I mean, quarterback, Dak, Love, not really in play for us, right? I mean, you can make an argument, go Dak Prescott 81 and then get Jake Ferguson on the way back around. You can make that argument. I wouldn't be super excited to do so, like to actually pull the trigger there, but what are we going to do? DeAndre Hopkins off the board. So this is going to be like the last tier wide receivers that we're looking at in JSN, Rashee Rice, Deontay Johnson, Christian Watson. Mike excited about any of these? No. I kind of want to reach on DeAndre Swift here, if I'm being honest with you. But the thing is, we can go JSN at 81. And then on the way back around, I know that we are going to get a running back. if that makes sense. Like JSN is that last tier wide receiver, especially with Hopkins going at 80. I mean, if we go Swift, essentially no matter what, we have to take a running back at 88 in my mind. Like I'm not going to be able to take a wide receiver at 88. The pick is going to be RB. So might as well just lock in the wide receiver at 81. We have Kenneth Walker. If that makes any difference whatsoever, we can make a bet saying, oh, okay, I guess the Seahawks are going to be a better offense than most people expect, but Deontay goes 86. I mean, unless we actually, yeah, and even a Rashee Rice off the board. So all these guys are gone. Spam the chat right now. Who would you rather have? Najee, Pollard, Brooks? I don't care between the three of these guys. We don't really have, a construction reason to go with any of these players over the other. So spam the chat. Do you want Najee, Tony Pollard, or Jonathan Brooks? It looks like most people are saying Pollard. I see very few Najee here. Pollard, Brooks, Pollard, Najee, Pollard. Najee, Brooks, Najee, Pollard, Brooks, Pollard, Najee, Pollard, Brooks, Pollard. Yeah, so I think we had the majority of the chat saying Pollard. So do I love what we did at the turn? No, but do I think we did probably the best of what we could do? Yeah. I mean, we could have gone Dak Prescott 81 and then followed it up with Jake Ferguson 88 if we really wanted to. But honestly, it's not super exciting for me. Yeah, I think that we can get some other quarterbacks that have a decent ceilings later on as well. So after we take Pollard, you have Najee, you have Connor going. Jonathan Brooks goes 91. So yeah, round 8, you're just going to see this massive tier running backs off the board, right? Let's move this. Jaden says Najee was great in college, but sucks in the NFL. Sad to see. What's funny is if you look at Najee at Alabama, the man was like by far and away the oldest player on the field. Let me look up the age that Najee Harris was drafted at. Like he was laughably old. He was born in 98. Najee is a 26-year-old running back going into year 4. Yeah, Najee played his rookie season at 23 years old. No. Ferguson makes it all the way down to 93. So if you look at this Jake Ferguson ADP, so I believe Ferguson was maybe the best player on the board or close to the best player on the board for us at 88. But you really have to understand when most people are going to be stacking their teams in these underdog drafts that some of these ADPs are just kind of fake, right? So the Jake Ferguson ADP, the reason it's fake is you are just going to see so many teams at the 7-8 turn go Dak Prescott and then reach on Jake Ferguson because they want the Dak Prescott stack. Whereas if you're looking at some of these other options, nobody's reaching on Pollard for a stack. Nobody's reaching on Najee. Nobody's reaching on Connor. Nobody's reaching on Brooks. Nobody's reaching on Zach Moss for a stack. If you're taking these running backs just because you think that they project out well with the points that should be able to score for your specific roster construction, and yeah, we kind of needed an RB3 here. So is some of these guys like Ferguson, very rarely would I ever draft them outside of a Dak Prescott build. Unless they fell considerably past ADP, if that makes sense. Okay, Benson off the board, 97. Pretty early for Trey Benson here. I think that was pretty early for Jameson as well, if I'm remembering their ADPs correctly. And is my camera frozen? Oh, dear God. What is going on here? Is this a camera issue or is this an OBS issue? All right. I will figure this out. Don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, dear God. We're toast. We are toast. All right. We will get back to that in a second. Let's figure out who we're taking here. Pick 105. Caleb goes. Caleb wasn't really in play for us. There are two guys that I'm pretty much looking at. Sutton goes. Sutton was not one of those players. So it looks like the guy that we wanted probably will make it to us here. And I'll ask y'all who you want. Would you rather have Javonte Williams or Brock Bowers? If one of these guys goes, we'll just take the other one. I'm not going to sit here and stress about it too much. But yeah, these are the two guys that I'm looking at. So Javonte goes, we'll take Bowers. Not going to stress over it. Bowers is like an interesting case. We take him at tight end. It's an awkward spot, and I don't know if we're only taking 2 or 3 tight ends. But yeah, Javonte would have fallen. He definitely would have been the player that I would have taken. I mean, I think Javonte kind of deserves a spot in the same tier as Tony Pollard, Najee Harris, James Conner, Jonathan Brooks, Zach Moss, Raheem Mostert, Jalen Warren, Trey Benson. As they project out to get some volume. Who knows if they'll be any good or not, but maybe. Okay. Video capture device. Let's add something in here. Backup camera. We'll call it that. Backup camera. Cam 4 link. Did not work. Okay. What is going on? What is going on? The thing about showbiz, ladies and gentlemen, is when you got a face that looks this good, it has to be on the screen. I can tell you one thing. There are not 400 people here because of my fantasy football takes. There are approximately 10 guys here because of my fantasy football takes and 390 ladies here due to this face. And we are back, and the ladies will now most likely be staying. But let's move this over and figure out what we're doing. Jaden Daniels has rushing upside. I'm going to pull the trigger on Jaden Daniels. I understand we don't have a stack here to go along with this Washington offense, but we can take Jahan Dotson later on. We can take Benson Ott later on. And if you are looking at Daniels, it's a quarterback that has a lot of rushing upside, right? So very similar to what we were talking about with Anthony Richardson. We don't need a stack here. I mean, you can see some spike weeks just based off what he can do on the ground with his legs. And a big thing is as well, if we pass on a quarterback in this range and our next quarterback ends up being someone like Matthew Stafford, I don't know how excited I'd be to only draft 2 quarterbacks with them being Anthony Richardson and Stafford. But if we can go ahead and get someone like Jaden Daniels here, I know for a damn fact, okay, I only have to draft 2 QBs. And the other option, and full transparency, the other option was Austin Eckler, and I could not have turned on the camera and made a selection of Austin Eckler one more time. I feel like we've drafted Eckler. I don't know how many. What's actually funny is every draft that we've done so far this year has been on the live stream, which I'm actually really enjoying. It's making me really look forward to these streams every night. I've been just having a ton of fun doing this. So I'm going to pull up our exposures that we currently have. I have not looked at this at all just because we haven't done too many drafts. We've done 7, 8, 11, 13. We've done 15 drafts in the live stream so far. And how many of these drafts do I have Austin Eckler? Ooh, here's a fun little experiment. Who's my most drafted player out of the 15 drafts that we've done on the live stream since the NFL draft? Who is my most drafted player, ladies and gentlemen? Spam the chat. There are 2 guys tied for 1 at 33%. So I've drafted them in 5 out of 15 leagues. Kenneth Walker, JSN. Walker, Lamar Etienne, Lamar, Puka, Ayuk, Lamar. It is Kenneth Walker tied with, let's see if anybody got the other guys tied with. Trey Benson. Kenneth Walker and Trey Benson tied at 33%. I see some other people mixing in Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta is tied for our 3rd most drafted spot at 26% with Roshan, Kyler Murray, Devonta Smith, Lamar Jackson. So it's obviously such a small sample. We can't come out here and make super big statements with it. But I am drafting a lot of Kenneth Walker round 6. I mean, which is what we said earlier in this live stream, of course. Now let's move this over. We do not get A.D. Mitchell making it back to us in round 11. A.D. Mitchell does go in the prior round. What was his ADP? A.D. Mitchell has an ADP right now of 114. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of people can come out and say, Mason, you're an idiot. You should have taken Mitchell to stack with Richardson instead of Jaden Daniels. And there's a good shot you are correct in that. I would have taken Jacoby Myers relatively easily if you would have made it to us here at 129. If we would have taken Myers, it would have somewhat correlated with Bowers. I think a lot of these wide receivers are in a similar tier. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Jahan Dotson simply because we have Jaden Daniels. And to be honest with you, I don't think Dotson's a much worse option than what you have with Joshua Palmer, Jared Jeudy, Brandon Cooks. So let's go ahead and let's lock him in. Blake Corum. I feel like we've taken Corum in a couple of these drafts as of late. And I'm going to reiterate it. It's not like I'm the biggest Blake Corum fan in the world. So it does seem like he is falling past his ADP a decent amount. Okay. Let's move this over. So now wide receiver, we have Puka, Olave, Smith, JSN, as well as Jahan Dotson. Running back, we have Derrick Henry, Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard. Quarterback, we have Anthony Richardson, Jaden Daniels. Tight end, we have Brock Bowers. So here's the fact of the matter, and this is what scares me. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, another good team. I've drafted another good team. You're on a roll lately, Mason, drafting good teams. You haven't embarrassed yourself in a very long time. Which, knowing myself, that is terrifying because it probably means a lot of these teams are just straight up garbage. We're probably going to be looking at Josh Downs to pair up with Anthony Richardson. To be honest with you, I probably think Brandon Cooks is a better option. Charbonnet and Jerome Ford are better options. There's no way we can go quarterback here, of course. But since we have Anthony Richardson, I think we're probably stuck going Josh Downs to get some kind of correlation in here. My issue with Downs is I think he actually draws more target volume than A.D. Mitchell this year. I think Downs is one of these. I think A.D. Mitchell and Josh Downs are like great examples of looking at fantasy football value versus real life value. I think A.D. Mitchell's like a deep ball specialist that's going to be able to stretch NFL defenses and provide a lot of value to the Indianapolis Colts offense overall. But at the same time, I don't really expect A.D. Mitchell to be commanding a ton of volume and being a really great fantasy option. On the opposite end of the spectrum, I bet there are a lot of wide receivers in the NFL that can do Josh Downs' job. Just stay close to the line of scrimmage, be a chains mover. But that's going to be the guy rocking up target volume. It's going to be the guy scoring points on the board. So from a full BBR format, I'd be a lot more excited about Downs. My hesitation is in a best ball league. I don't know if he has the touchdown upside to make a super big difference. Okay. And I actually drafted a lot of Josh Downs. If y'all remember, like last August, he was going close to round 18. I mean, I was picking up at round 18 consistently. And when we should have been picking up Puka, of course, it's embarrassing that we were not drafting. Instead of drafting Puka, instead of drafting Kyron Williams, I was drafting freaking Josh Downs and Wan'Dale Robinson. So, and let me remind you, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care if you hit, I mean, obviously I'd like it if you hit that like button, but no matter what, we're going to be firing up another draft for you on this live stream tonight. We were supposed to get in another draft yesterday because y'all had 300 likes on the stream. And since it was Mother's Day, the stream started late and we only got in one draft. So I owe y'all another one tonight, no matter what. So we'll be getting in a second draft after this. Okay. Now, Jalen Wright goes 143. And yeah, I mean, going back to the Downs pick, obviously Downs here at 136 makes a ton of sense because we have Anthony Richardson. Like, there's a reason I take him. And if I'm looking at him in the, like, compared to the other wide receivers that go after him, I'd rather have Josh Downs over Dontavian Wicks. I'd rather have him over Sticky Ricky. I'd rather have him over Xavier Legette. But, and there's a big but with this, just because I would rather have him over those wide receivers doesn't mean he's a good pick. Like, I think Jerome Ford, Zach Charbonnet are much better selections in round 12. Like, I think round 12 should be a round that you're honestly taking running back. Ben Sinnott goes 145. He would have been in play for us. Not the end of the world, right? I mean, we're not going to sit here and cry about it. Okay, so let's move this around. We are pretty much running back, wide receiver, tight end through the rest of this draft here. This will most likely be a 5 running back build with our 3 running backs so far being Derrick Henry, Kenneth Walker, and Tony Pollard. Probably going to take 3 tight ends with our 1 tight end so far being Brock Bowers. Bartomania, happy to see you. Says, cheers all. Go Horns. Go Horns, my friend. Hopefully we have a good year this year. Going back to the stream and what we were saying yesterday, I'm the definition of a fair weather fan. If you give me a bad team, I'm not going to be super invested. I'm not really going to root for you, but give me a good team. I'm in. I will be there for my Texas Longhorns if we have a good team on the field. Okay, so Marshawn Lloyd off the board, 149. For the love of God, let's not make this another JSN, Quentin Johnston team like what we had yesterday. Quentin Johnston, Deshaun Watson go 150, 151. Okay, I don't want to say too much. I don't even know if we want to say anything. I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to take Luke Musgrave. We're still going to draft 3 tight ends with us taking Musgrave here. I don't want to say what. There are a couple players on the board that I have absolutely no interest in whatsoever, but it'd be good for us if they get drafted before backup, so I'm not going to say anything. So Stafford goes immediately after to the Cooper Kupp team. Decent value, of course. We passed on Stafford and we had Puka. This team goes Rodgers. This is a team that has Garrett Wilson. They get Rodgers at a decent value as well. Condre Miller goes 156. I would have definitely taken Miller if he would have made it to us at 160. I think the rookie in Los Angeles is actually leapfrog J.K. Dobbins, which is interesting. Troy Franklin, 158. Yeah, Franklin was the guy that I had literally zero interest in. Now we are on the clock. If we wanted to go running back, I think Tyler Algier is my favorite name. If we wanted to go wide receiver, I think we go Jalen Polk. We have 3 rookies. The 4th isn't the end of the world. Yeah, Jalen Polk has an ADP of 11 picks higher than Tyler Algier. There'll be other drafts where we can get Algier in. We'll go Jalen Polk in this one. Yeah, but whenever we were on the board, what I was really looking at on that last pick with Luke Musgrave is I just really didn't want to go like Troy Franklin. I was hoping that Jalen Polk was going to be gone as well. We were going to get like Condre Miller or Hunter Henry on the way back around. Okay, so let's move this over. Now, and I do want to reiterate, I think I maybe see some people in the chat talking about like rookie mini camps and stuff right now. Well, obviously it's fun and we haven't had any football action in the longest time. Please, for the love of God, do not sit here and watch clips on Twitter from rookie minicamp and think that you need to be changing your fantasy football rankings because of it. I mean, maybe if we get some really training camp, obviously a bigger deal. But rookie minicamp, I don't even know like what could be a big deal. I guess if you're going to like some uncertain backfields at like RB2, RB3, maybe say like Braylon. Maybe if we were looking at the Jet situation, figuring out if Braylon Allen's the RB2, stuff like that. Maybe it can matter there. But okay. Yes, I remember Ridley's infamous training camp routes. I will run through what happened with Ridley last year. This was training camp. So training camp a little more serious than rookie minicamp. But Ridley is someone I did not draft at all last year. Literally at all. Before training camp, he was going like late round 3. Training camp comes around. he has some highlight grabs, and all of a sudden is going at the 2-3 turn. And I am sitting here crapping my pants, going, did I really just pass on this guy all offseason at the end of the third round, thinking I was smart, and now he is going at the end of the second round? And unless I'm mistaken, didn't really have like a TD grab to start the season. I think, did he have a strong play week 1? So I remember I was terrified that Calvin Ridley was going to absolutely bury me this past year. Of course, it was Puka that buried me, which I was never expecting, literally. I was not worried about Puka burying me. That's who I should have been worried about, but yes, he had a big week 1. Okay, that's what I was thinking, yeah. I remember training camp happens. He's going late round 2. I'm already terrified that he's flown up board so much. And then he has a big week 1. And I'm just sitting there going, oh, dear God, I'm freaking toast. I am toast. Okay. Now, Malachi Corley off the board, 172. I wouldn't have been looking at Corley regardless. Marvin Mims goes 173. To be honest with you, I'm not really looking at any of the wide receivers here. It makes me feel better about taking Jalen Polk where we did at 160. Demario Douglas goes 175. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take Juwan Johnson as our third tight ends. We've already kind of made the bet on the Saints offense by taking Chris Olave where we did. So doubling down, saying the Saints passing offense is going to be good. We were going to take 3 tight ends in this draft no matter what. So now we just need to take 2 running backs and 1 more receiver. And I'm not super pumped about any of the wide receivers anytime soon. Please spam the chat. What draft do you want next? Do you want a Chihuahua or a puppy draft? Chihuahua or a puppy, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Let's move this. Bateman off the board, 182. I'm not taking Bateman on any non-Lamar team. I'll take Bateman when I have Lamar, but outside of that, I don't care. And this team's probably done at running. Maybe not. We'll see. We're probably taking Tyrone Tracy. I mean, he's the only other running back alongside Devin Singletary on that roster. I've already told you I have no real hope for Khalil. So, yeah, let me show you all this board. I don't love the team, to be honest with you, but I think we did a good job for what our opportunity was. For picking at 9, for not having a ton of optionality here. But, yeah, wide receiver, we're sitting with Puka, Olave, Devonta Smith, JSN, Jahan Dotson, Josh Downs, Jalen Polk. Running back, we have Derrick Henry, Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard, Tyrone Tracy. Tight end, we have Brock Bowers, Luke Musgrave, Juwan Johnson. Quarterback, we have Anthony Richardson stacked up with Josh Downs, and we have Jaden Daniels stacked up with Jahan Dotson. So, okay, so let's see. Puppy, 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 Chihuahua, puppy, Chihuahua, Chihuahua, Chihuahua. Puppy, 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 puppy. So it looks like most people do want a puppy draft here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to be hopping in another, just in case you don't know the structure of it. There have already been almost 40,000 interest into this. That's absolutely nuts. But 50,000 for first, 25,000 for second, 15 for third, 10,000 for fourth, and it's a freaking $5 buy-in, right? I mean, this is just a massive, massive tournament. Let's fire this up, and it is immediately full, and let's see who we are drafting with. We're at 5. Okay, at 5, we're going to get a good pick. We are going to get a good player, and this should be a much better team. So I am excited about this, ladies and gentlemen. And let me make sure I have the other draft on my phone so I'm not missing those last 2 picks. The team's too good to throw away with auto drafting our last 2. Let's see. Yes, pick 9 incoming. Happily, we dodged pick 9. Kobe in at 5. Interesting. Interesting, my friend. Are you my co-manager here? Nightmare number 8. Happy to be drafting with you, my friend. Ken Perry in this draft again. Let me know what pick you're at, my friend. We got Flock's Kryptonite out here at 10. Long time no see. Ken in here at 11. Kobe actually in here at 9. And Kenny says at 4 we can snipe each other. Let's go, my man. Let's go. And I need to text my girlfriend to bring me some water. I'm out here dying. Okay. Column out here, number 7. Sir Bob says girlfriend draft win. My girlfriend has gotten in a draft before, my friend. If you were here when my girlfriend did a draft for us, let me know. That'd be very impressive. Be very impressive. Let's smooth this over. So no super big surprises. I mean, Lamb doesn't go ahead of CMC too often, but it does happen. We're going to take Chark in that other draft. In this one, we're going to be boring. We'll just take Justin Jefferson. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown in a much better situation, but I think Justin Jefferson's a much better wide receiver. Teresa was here. I believe it. I believe it. That says girlfriend versus the big dog. I can call the dog in here if y'all want. The dog could probably draft a better team than I could, to be honest with you. And, of course, real quick, if you didn't hear, ladies and gentlemen, Underdog is now available in Michigan. So this map is out of date. Underdog available in pretty much every single state now if you want to be getting in a draft with us. And we are going to be drafting every single freaking night if you want to hop in. And you find that link in the description, comment section, live chat. You've heard me say it a million times by now. But I think maybe we go Will Shipley or we'll go Audric Estime. Yeah, we'll go with the rookie running back in Denver with the last pick. And yeah, code FLOCK will give you a 50% deposit bonus up to $250 on a new account. Plus, you'll be getting that special NBA pick'em. Depending on the day that you sign up will depend on the players, but it's going to be more than less than half a total point for that player. And you'll get our 2024 fantasy football rankings with code FLOCK. So make sure you take advantage. But now that we are not at pick 9, of course, pick 9 is going to get the option to take either Jonathan Taylor or Saquon Barkley at 16, where we had to freaking take Olave. Hopefully, Teresa, I hope Underdog will be available in Louisiana one day. Now, do I have any knowledge? No, I have no idea, but would be cool. Flock's Kryptonite goes for the unique build. They go Puka and Mike Evans. I don't know what their thought process is. More likely than not, I'm assuming their thought process is it's a massive tier here with all these wide receivers. Evans exclusively goes at the 2-3 turn, so we can get a unique build by taking Evans with Puka, even if they don't particularly have Evans ranked that high. Fantasy Godzilla went with Amon-Ra St. Brown round 1. Let's see what they do. They go Drake London. We're going to keep it simple. We'll just go ahead and we'll take Brandon Ayuk here at pick 20. Ayuk's not going to make it down to 22 too often in these drafts. Is there any shot we get Debo on the way back around? No. Debo has an ADP of 22. Would be pretty cool if we could get Debo at 29 and get that Niners correlation, but that is a long shot of ever happening. Okay, Waddle goes 22. I feel like we taken Waddle at all this year? Let me see. Let's pull up our ownership percentages. Yes, I drafted Waddle in 1 draft this year so far. So we have gotten Waddle. I think maybe that was a Tyreek start. Okay, let's move this over. Kyron now going down to round 3. Falany decides to go with the Houston stack at Diggs and Collins. This team at 2 decides to pair up CMC and Debo. Yeah, I would have been so excited to get Kyron at 29. We are about to make, actually, no, never mind. I was going to say we're about to make Laporta pretty close to our most drafted player. We're going to go DJ Moore. I mean, just taking 3 wide receivers out the gate puts us in a position where we can take a lot of these running backs that we like in the middle rounds. So I think we take DJ Moore. I was probably going to take Laporta. Y'all know I've taken a lot of round 3 Laporta this year. But I think we've specifically seen all these Chicago Bears wide receivers, including, Caleb Williams, the quarterback, fall in drafts over the past month. The team at 8 goes Brees, Barkley, Allen. So they decide to go within a... So, I'm completely fine going RB at the 8. Like, if you have the opportunity to go Brees Hall, Saquon Barkley, I'm doing it. But the thing is, if you go Brees, Barkley, I've typically found that you're going to be forced to go wide receiver in round 3 a lot. I love going with the elite quarterback, but a lot of times I'd rather go with an elite quarterback on a wide receiver heavy start. Like running back heavy start, you kind of get sucked into having to go Devonta Smith there round 3. Wide receiver heavy start, I think definitely go Josh Allen. Now, god dang, my girlfriend has not checked out. God, I'm gonna have to call her. I'm sorry. I need water badly, ladies and gentlemen. I don't even know if I can talk any longer without water. Tank Dell 37. This is a wild draft. What's the Dell ADP? 43 pretty much? Yeah, Dell going before Jacobs and Kupp in this. Lamar goes 39. Yeah, this team goes for the Flowers. I actually kind of like that team so far. The Flowers-Lamar stack's going to be pretty unique, just given the fact that both those guys have like a mid-round 4 ADP. So, like, you would either have to get extremely lucky and have one of them fall to round 5, or you have to reach on one of them in round 3 to put them together. I'm freaking pumped. It's literally just going to take whoever makes it between Jacobs and Kelsey. Yeah. Spam the chat right now if you have a preference between these two. If one of them goes, I just take the other. I don't think twice. But let's see. Okay. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I see most of y'all in the chat saying Jacobs, but we don't have a choice. Yeah, we're going to go ahead. We're going to take Kelsey. And obviously now we're hoping that we get Mahomes on the way back around. Water should be on the way. Okay. So Stroud goes 45. Interesting to see Stroud go here. I was assuming that we were going to see Stroud go to Falany there at pick 48. Especially when you had Tank Dell go at 37. I pretty much just automatically assumed that Falany was going to get himself Stroud. Yeah, Mahomes goes 46. Not going to fault anybody at all for taking Mahomes, regardless if you have Kelsey or not. Ken Perry says, damn, Ken Perry's going off. I'll say, let me say, damn, Team 5 going off here. Team 5, crushing it. Kincaid off the board, 47. We could go Andrews, 53, and go for the bully tight end approach. I'm sure y'all remember back in the day, a lot of people going like Kelsey, Andrews, round 1 and round 2 and trying to go bully tight end that way, which I've never really been a fan of. If you look at all the historical data too, round 1, round 2 tight end is, historically speaking, a very bad move. But going bully tight ends here, rounds 4 and 5 may not be bad at all. Okay, the dog is crying at the door. She can come in and say hi real quick. You want to say hi to everybody? You want to say hi? All right. Say what's up, party people. What's up, party people? Are we taking Mark Andrews here? Are we going bully tight end? I know you're a good girl. You're a good girl. We'll walk after this. Ugh. Okay. Actually, no. We're gonna go Trey McBride. I was thinking of possibly going with the bully tight end in Kelsey Andrews. I have Andrews ranked ahead of McBride, but just from a raw uniqueness perspective, the amount of teams that are going to get the opportunity to start off Jefferson Ayuk more than Kelsey McBride. Dear God. It's going to be a very unique team. I'm super excited about this team, ladies and gentlemen. Fire me up some Kenneth Walker at pick 68 and GG to everybody else in this tournament. I actually wish this was a Best Ball Mania team. Jacob says, I've never seen this build. To be honest, I don't think really anybody ever has the opportunity to get this build. Kelsey, the majority of these drafts going at the 3-4 turn. McBride's going at the end of the 4th, the very beginning of the 5th. I mean, McBride has an ADP of 44. Kelsey has an ADP of like 39. DJ Moore typically going at the 2-3 turn. So, yeah, I mean, super unique builds. I don't think we're sacrificing too much upside to do it either. And I don't really know if anybody's going to be able to replicate it in the tournament. I mean, this is pretty much exactly what we're looking for. Now, obviously, we need to hit on some running backs late. But it is nice to see some of these teams here at the end soaking up these wide receivers and going like Hollywood, Brian Thomas at pick 60 and 61. So hopefully pushing down some of these running backs to us. And yeah, I'm going to try to keep what I'm doing close to the chest through the rest of this draft here. Of course, I don't want to be giving away too much because I am pretty damn excited about this team. I will say one thing. We're not taking another tight ends. You can't take Kelsey round 4, McBride round 5, and then get away with drafting another. So this will be a 2 tight end build. Pitts goes 63. Great for us to see any tight ends off the board, right? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I have so many thoughts right now. I just got to keep my lips shut. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys I'd be okay with, and we're up in 5 picks. So, yeah, we're in a great spot. George Kittle goes. Obviously, Kittle was not in play for us, so it's even better. Let's move this over. Kadarius Tony says, how many likes for a 3rd draft? We'll fire up a 3rd draft if we get 550 likes on the live stream, my friend, which we are most likely not doing. And to save my voice, we most likely should not get in a 3rd draft, which is why I'm saying that number. But Addison for sure in play for us. We took Jefferson. We could have gone Addison and then had a 3 quarterback build centered around McCarthy super late and got the Jefferson, Addison, McCarthy double stack. Rome definitely in play for us as well since we had DJ Moore. Terry McLaurin off the board. We need a running back. Joe Mixon falls 11 picks past ADP. Let's go ahead. Let's fire up Mixon. I'm not a super big proponent of drafting all these 2017-year-old RBs that are on their second teams. I mean, typically a running back this age, this point of his NFL career, for his team to move on from him, just get him off the books where they don't want to pay the guy's contract anymore. Not a good sign. But I will say with Mixon, hell, he got upside. Really great offense in Houston, right? So, yeah, I don't know. And also in that 2017 draft class, Joe Mixon was the youngest RB selected. So we can sit here and we can talk down on it. But, I mean, at cost, pick 68. 12 picks past ADP. I'm all about it. The Montgomery goes 73. Ladd goes. So we're quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Burrow not necessarily in play for us. We'd go Kyler well before we would go Burrow. We're either Kyler or Ramondre here. Kyler goes. It sucks. It is what it is. I think we go ahead and we take Ramondre Stevenson. Burrow. We can't even take Cincinnati's tight end later on, right? We need RB anyway, so let's go ahead and let's take Ramadre at pick 77. Not a super exciting selection. I would have loved to get Kyler Murray here to pair up with McBride, and also I just think Kyler is a great pick in round 7 regardless. So I really like what happened in round 6. Love what happened in rounds 5, 4, and 3. Round 7 doesn't exactly go our way, but we get a player that fits our build. Maybe this is what we needed. Maybe we needed another RB. And Joe Burrow does go 79. So I wonder why that team at 4 decided to go Kyler over Burrow with Jamar Chase on the squad. Steven says, in your opinion, who's the best quarterback at cost? I think that there are a lot of strong QBs at cost currently. If you're looking at ADP, I really like the ADP of Herbert. I like the ADP of Tua. I mean, Tua led the NFL in passing last year, and he's QB 14 off the board. Now, a couple different things with that. Obviously, have no rushing upside whatsoever. And the issue and why you're going to see Tua push down a bit is really it only makes sense to take Tua on a build where you're going to go with Odell, Waddle, or Tyreek. Just given the fact that because you have no rushing upside whatsoever, I mean, if you're going to see a massive spike week, it's going to have to be fueled through those wide receivers anyway. So, I mean, you are going to artificially see Tua push down in some of these drafts just because, like, I wouldn't be excited about taking Tua even if I like him in a vacuum on this team, unless we got him at a really strong value. Okay. Now, Bowers goes 86. What's the ADP on Bowers? 98. Okay. Because I thought we got him after pick 100 in the last draft. But let's move this over. I mean, obviously, I'm not complaining for a tight end to go early in this one. We want as many tight ends off the board as possible. Tony Pollard off 87. So we are quarterback, running back, wide receiver through the rest of this draft. We're looking at Dak. Dak, not a super exciting option for us here. I mean, we could go Dak and then target Cooks later on. But the thing is, I mean, we can't even go Ferguson, right, when we have Kelsey McBride. Caleb, I guess we can obviously go Caleb if we have more. The team after us, Kate Craven, they can't take another quarterback though. They already have Stroud and Kyler. This team has Mahomes. This team has no Bears. This team has no Bears either. So I'm not going to be taking Caleb at 92. I think there's a pretty good shot that we can get Caleb on the way back around 9. No issue. And worst case scenario, we don't get Caleb. We can still go Purdy to pair him up with Ayuk. Okay. Christian Watson goes. Oh my gosh. We will take Rashee Rice and go in on this Chiefs passing offense. Obviously, Rashee Rice looks like there's a high probability that he is getting suspended. And the floor on Rashee Rice is extremely low. But the vast majority of the money is up for grabs. We got to have that strong fantasy football playoff stretch in weeks 15, 16, 17. And also, this is a $5 buy-in, like $50,000 to first place. So you're not going to win $50,000 for just drafting safe players. A lot of times you do have to go out there and you have to take that guy that has massive red flags that you think could give you a decent ceiling. And we get him 11 picks past ADP, correlates with Kelsey for us. So I think it does make some sense. Jameson Williams off the board, 96. Wouldn't have been super excited to take Jameson. Dak goes 97 to Falany to pair up with CeeDee Lamb. Makes a ton of sense for them. Okay. David Njoku, 98. Great for us. Jalen Warren, 99. Okay, perfect. So we are essentially going to lock ourselves up. Caleb Williams here, 101. Pair up with DJ Moore. This team already has Stroud, Kyler. So what else? What's awkward, we can't really go. I mean, we can. But I'm not super pumped to go like Caleb and then JJ McCarthy super late. Obviously, I think we're drafting 3 quarterbacks here. When we're only going with the 2 tight end approach with Kelsey and McBride, and we wait till pick 101 to take our first quarterback in Caleb. But yeah, right now, wide receiver, we have Jefferson Ayuk, DJ Moore, Rashee Rice, Caleb Williams. Bully tight end with Kelsey and McBride. Running back, Mixon, Ramadre. So the correlation we have, we are kind of going in on the Bears offense with DJ Moore, Caleb Williams, and going in on the Chiefs offense with Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce. And setting up a prayer that somehow Rice does not get suspended. Okay. So let's move this over. Benson off 105. Trying to think what else could we do. Actually, we're 10 picks away. I'm getting too excited. I really like this team. Yeah, I really like that. I just want to be back up on the clock. I want to see what we're going to get. And this dog down here has been freaking obsessed with me lately, ladies and gentlemen. She's learned that she can open the office door. And unless I like really, really close it. So I'll hear her just come in. She's over 100 pounds. So I'll hear her just body the door trying to get herself in. And if it doesn't open, then she just stands there and claws on the door until I let her in so she can lay under the desk. But then I have to scoot my chair out and lean over, and pretty sure I'm breaking my back doing this. Goddard 109. Perfect. Let's get these tight ends off. Ooh, Hawkinson. Great value. Someone take Hawkinson. Tua not really in play for us, even if I like Tua in a vacuum, like I said. But if we were to take Tua here, we pretty much have to pencil ourselves into taking Odell later on. I mean, you could go Tua with some of the running backs in Miami. You could go Tua with the tight ends. But we've already missed the boat on the running backs in Miami. We can't take it tight ends. Yes, Tua does not look like a possibility for us here. Singletary off 112. Hawkinson goes 113. For the love of God, don't make me do it. How many? Eckler goes. Okay, we don't have to do it. Thank God. I was going to say, how many drafts have I taken Eckler? And I feel like we've taken Eckler in way too many of these. Yeah, I've taken Eckler in 20% of the drafts. So we're going to go ahead. We'll take Nick Chubb. I mean, I'm pumped. Take Chubb. Yes, coming off significant injury. Yes, this is going to be someone that at the beginning of the season, probably we're not getting much from. But, I mean, ultimately, we're chasing ceiling for weeks 15, 16, 17. I think Nick Chubb has the ceiling for us during that stretch. We need a running back. I mean, hell, we're going to be drafting 6 of these guys. So, yeah, I'm going to be taking Nick Chubb with a smile on my face on 116 for this build especially. Okay. Justin Herbert goes 119. God. Jared Goff, 4-year, $212 million. How about this? If you sign a $212 million contract today, how do you celebrate, ladies and gentlemen? Do you buy yourself something? What are you doing to celebrate if you signed a $212 million contract today? What I personally would probably do is I'd probably buy a lake house. But I'm not a big partier, so I'm sure maybe y'all have better things. John says Vegas. $200 million on red. Yeah. Vacation. Goff goes 121. Palmer goes 122. Shaheed 123. So yeah, wide receiver not in play for us anymore. Tight end obviously not in play. Lawrence. The thing is, we go Lawrence. We're not going to get Gabe Davis on the way back around. Caboose house in Hawaii. Not a bad plan. Spam the chat. Do you want Chase Brown or do you want Gus Edwards? Gus Edwards or Chase Brown, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know in the live chat what you want. Gus, Brown, Gus, Brown. Okay, so it looks like most people are wanting Gus Edwards here. So we will take a Mr. Gus Edwards. Boring pick. Scored a lot of points last year. Scored a lot of touchdowns. He's in a very good offense, an offense that I think probably wants to run the ball based off what this team did this offseason, right? So let's go ahead and let's say. Teresa says, I'd buy a house in Texas so I can do an underdog draft. Yes. That actually the correct answer, how you celebrate $212 million for a Detroit Lions contract, is now that Michigan has Underdog, you fire up Underdog Fantasy, and you see if Underdog will let you do a $212 million pick'em. 5-player pick'em. Go for the 20X. Go for $1 billion. Yeah. You either lose and give Underdog its biggest payday ever, or you win and you own Underdog Fantasy. Mason says, I'd build a pickleball court in my backyard. Funny enough, I've actually been playing a lot of pickleball lately. And this is like an embarrassing thing about me. It's, but I'll let you in on a secret. I'm not like super big on social media. So if I'm bored on my phone, what I like doing is I like going on Zillow and just looking at houses that are for sale in Austin. And there was a house for sale in Austin that I could not have afforded, but I mean, everybody likes to daydream. And they had a pickleball court in the backyard. And it looked cool. Like, it overlooked the city. I was like, oh my gosh. It gave me a good day. I was able to daydream about it for about a week until it then said active under contract. And I was like, oh, you're telling me you weren't going to cut the price by 50% for me? But Jacob says, where were you at in Florida? I live in Tampa and work in Naples. I lived in Channelside whenever I was in Tampa, my friend. Yeah, so I lived downtown Tampa whenever I was there, which I really liked. I like Austin more, which is why I'm here. But Jerry Judy off the board, 132. Smooth this back around. So, I mean, if we're looking at quarterbacks coming up, Cousins, Stafford, both these pocket passing options that, I mean, are really hard to take unless you are going to stack them. If we're looking at potential stacking options, we could go Cousins and then Darnell Mooney. Actually, yeah, that may actually work here. Stafford, and then we had to go like Demarcus Robinson super, super late. Stafford goes to this team. Who's the team that took London? The team that took London is most likely taking Cousins looking at their roster. I mean, unless they go Downs to pair up Anthony Richardson, go for the Richardson double stack. Yeah, I'm not really worried about Big Nuts or Cal Coleman going Cousins. It'd be, does Fantasy Godzilla go Kirk Cousins? But another thing we have to consider are the teams after us. Kate Craven has Stroud and Kyler. They can't take another quarterback. Just try against Mahomes Tua. They can't take another quarterback. This team is Purdy, Herbert. Maybe they could. I probably would only take 2. This team is Dak and Goff. Maybe they could. I'd probably only take 2. So I was thinking maybe we try to push our luck and see how far down we can let him fall, but he ends up going to this team that had Burrow, Lawrence. I mean, I'm not going to fault you at all if you go 3 quarterbacks in that build. I probably would have only gone 2, but I think it's a team you could definitely go 3. If I was going to go with the third, I probably would have waited a considerable amount of time to do so, though. Interesting to see Fantasy Godzilla pass on Downs. So Downs, Leggett, Dontavian Wicks. Specifically because we still need to be looking at quarterbacks later on in this draft. I want to be taking wide receivers that we have the ability to potentially take their quarterback later. So we're going to take Xavier Leggett here, pick 140. This way, Bryce Young's in play for us, where If we go Josh Downs, I don't necessarily know if that's the case. So now wide receiver, we have Jefferson Ayuk, DJ Moore, Rashee Rice, Xavier Legette. Tight end, we have Kelsey McBride. Running back, we have Mixon, Ramondre, Chubb, Gus Edwards. And quarterback, we have Caleb Williams. So, I don't know. I like it. Flamingo says, when are they giving me that XQC contract, my man? I've contacted Kick, and I've said, you know what, guys? Here's a live stream with me starting the stream with me in a raccoon mask on mute. If this is not the type of content creator that you need to give $50 million a year to, I don't know who is. So I sent Kick that clip. They said, I guess you're not XQC. I guess we don't need your content and you can stay on YouTube. I went, okay. Understandable. Condre Miller off the board, 148s. For looking at potential options for later, I mean, we could, to be honest with you, I think Darnell Mooney is the best player on the board if we're just going to go with the guy that we like. I think you make an argument, go Jalen Polk, and then all of a sudden Drake May's in play for you. And you could go Drake May to pair up with Ramondre Stevenson and Jalen Polk. You can make that argument, but the thing is we already take Caleb Williams. I think McCarthy's possibly in play. So I don't want to be sitting here just drafting 3 rookie quarterbacks. Like that is a recipe for absolute disaster. That is like a very clear indicator. I just started playing fantasy football last year, and I think every class has a CJ Stroud in it. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'll just go ahead. I'll take Darnell Mooney. I think Darnell Mooney's in a pass-heavy offense, surrounded by weapons that, I mean, Mooney's been the best I don't want to say that. Mooney's had the best season out of any wide receiver on that roster. Do I think he's the best wide receiver there? No, of course. I think Drake London's better than him. But it's not like London's a super proven talent. It's not like he's CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill. Passing volume should be there. Darnell Mooney got freaking paid. So we'll take him 149. I think he's a perfect example of someone that I would never like draft in a regular fantasy football league. But in like an underdog best ball draft, I think he actually can give us some pretty good weeks. Okay. Now, Ty Chandler, 154. And yeah, Marshawn Lloyd is another one of these guys that if you've been paying attention to the live streams as of late, I do think that his ADP is kind of fake. And I really don't know if we've ever seen him go at his ADP. Him and Troy Franklin and Michael Wilson, now that you had Zay Jones sign. Like those are kind of just fake ADPs where you're never going to see those players go at their actual picks. For looking at potential quarterbacks with their next 2 picks, there really aren't any. Yeah, we could. I don't know. I mean, you could go Baker and then take Jalen McMillan in the last round. I'm not interested in that. Nick Chubb's not going to correlate with Watson all. Nick Chubb's not a pass catcher. So Baker goes 160. McCarthy 161. That team had Addison and Hawkinson. Makes sense. Okay. Berton goes 162. I mean, we're gonna have to draft a quarterback at some point. Deshaun Watson off the board. Who the hell am I supposed to take? Oh, dear God. What have I done? We're going to take someone that had 100 receptions last season, and we're going to pretend like they're not a zillion years old and they didn't just fall flat on their face at the end of the year. We're going to go Adam Thielen, and yes, ladies and gentlemen, I went from thinking this was a good fantasy football team to now having the Bryce Young, most likely we're going to take Bryce Young, but Bryce Young, Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette double stack. For the love of God, Caleb Williams, be good. Please. I am relying on you, Caleb. I need you, Caleb. The other option is we could have gone Troy Franklin and then a Marvin Mims, 164, 173, and then taking Bo Nix. I just am not really excited about the idea of taking multiple rookie quarterbacks on the same team. So Chuba Hubbard goes 167. We are still just slamming quarterback, running back, wide receiver. So looking, and we're going to be drafting, let's think. We have 15, 16, 17, 18. We have 4 rounds left. We need 2 more running backs and 2 more quarterbacks. So we're probably done at wide receiver. Oh, dear God, Mason, what have you done? What have you done, you fool? Okay. Let's slim down. Maybe we change our mind and maybe we were able to go with the wide receiver later on, but I think we have to change our mindset real quick and focus in on some of these running backs and quarterbacks. All right. Is there a world where it makes sense to take Geno Smith? Can't take Noah Fant later. We have Kelsey McBride. Is there a world where it makes sense to take Will Levis? Probably not. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take Antonio Gibson, and we are going to now, ladies and gentlemen, oh my gosh, y'all are going to be jealous of this team. I can't. Like, please hold your flowers, hold your applause. Like, I know you're watching. I mean, just live in the moment. You're watching a master class. You're watching a master at work, and you're experiencing greatness, okay? Now, not only do we have 2 Panthers wide receivers, but we have also locked up the New England Patriots backfield. Ooh. Is there anything more exciting than building your team around the Patriots, Bears, and Panthers? So now running back, we have Mixon, Ramondre, Chubb, Gus Edwards, and Antonio Gibson. For you Dire Kid fans out there, Zooey Mama. Zooey Mama. All right. Let's move this over. Quarterback, running back, and tiers. So Bryce Young, come on home. Come on home, Young. Unless we don't take you here, unless we possibly take a running back here, and then we get the 2 quarterbacks on the way back around. We'll go Bucky Irving if he makes it to us, which he does. RB6, now we're done at running backs. Now we have Mixon, Ramondre, Chubb, Gus Edwards, Antonio Gibson, Bucky Irving. Tight ends, Kelsey McBride. Please hit our flex spot every once in a while. We're going to need you to. And then wide receiver, Jefferson Ayuk, DJ Moore, Rashee Rice, Xavier Legette, Darnell Mooney, Adam Thielen. We're going to take Bryce Young to get the double stack with Adam Thielen and Xavier Legette. We have the Caleb Williams, DJ Moore stack. And yeah, let's go Bryce Young. We'll figure out. Maybe this is a team where we take Justin Fields and say, okay, if he can somehow actually hit the fields and start, he's going to give us a lot of rushing upside. And oh my gosh, I am freaking dying. I need water. Okay, so let's move this over. Bateman off 193. Elijah Moore 192. Every time I see Elijah Moore here, I'm like, oh, I really like me some Elijah Moore round 17, round 18. And then I remember, oh, yeah, they went and, for whatever reason, traded for Jerry Jeudy and gave him all the money. Demarcus Robinson, 194. Not too much to this. I mean, it's just simple. Take Bryce Young, move on. And I want to be on record. Bryce Young's probably bad. Bryce Young last year, 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 6 fumbles. Actually had more rushing production than I thought. 254 rushing yards. Not horrible for Bryce Young. I honestly thought it'd be less than that. Bo Nix goes, we will take Bryce Young. And whatever third quarterback we take, just know he is the winner. He is what wins us this. But I think that's it. I know everybody's saying third draft. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. My voice is killing me. We have no water. I'm really going to have to save it for tomorrow. But I will be back tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, of course, if you want to hop into some drafts with us. Find that link in the description, comment section, live chats everywhere. Code FLOCK, get hooked up with a 50% deposit bonus up to $250. Plus, you'll get our 2024 rankings, plus a special NBA pick'em. Some like more than less than half a total point for whatever big NBA players playing that night with code FLOCK. And available in damn near every state now. I mean, this map's out to date. It is now available in Michigan as well. So the only states it's not available in: Louisiana, Nevada, Washington, Montana, Idaho, Hawaii, and I think Connecticut. And maybe one or two. Y'all see the map, but Michigan it is available in now. But thank you. Appreciate you so damn much. And really hope that we get to see you out with the live stream tomorrow night.